Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're jumping headfirst into one of William Shakespeare's most famous, most brilliant, and probably most misunderstood poems, Sonnet 130. I know. It sounds like a laundry list of insults, but trust me, by the end of this, you'll see why it's actually one of the most incredible love poems ever written.
So we're going to tackle this a little differently. First up, you're going to hear a complete performance of the sonnet, so you can just take it all in. Then we're going to break it down. We'll get into why it's not an insult, we'll decode some of those old school words, explore the poetic fad Shakespeare was totally making fun of, and then, the best part, we'll uncover the knockout declaration of love hiding right there in plain sight.
Okay, so for this first part, I just want you to listen. Forget trying to analyze it for a second. Pay attention to the words, sure, but really tune into the tone. This isn't an attack, it's like a love poem being shared with a warm, private smile.
My mistress's eyes are nothing like the sun. Coral is far more red than her lips red. If snow be white, why then her breasts are dun. If hairs be wires, black wires grow on her head.
I have seen roses damasked, red and white, but no such roses see I in her cheeks, and in some perfumes is there more delight than in the breath that from my mistress reeks.
I love to hear her speak, yet well I know that music hath a far more pleasing sound. I grant I never saw a goddess go. My mistress, when she walks, treads on the ground.
And yet by heaven, I think my love is rare, as any she belied with false compare.
Okay, let's dive into this. On first hearing, that sounds, well, kind of harsh, right? Her breasts are grayish-brown, she's got wiry hair, and her breath reeks. You know, it seems like a really strange way to talk about someone you love. But like that performance hinted, there's something else going on here. Something way more clever.
So what's the deal? Is he actually insulting this woman? No way! Not even close! In fact, he's paying her the biggest compliment you can imagine. And to get how he does it, we have to figure out who or what he's actually making fun of.
Okay, so this slide really breaks down the game Shakespeare is playing. See, back in his day, there was this poetic formula called the Anti-Blazon. It was basically a checklist of over-the-top, impossible compliments. Her eyes are like suns, her skin is like snow, you get it. What Shakespeare does, brilliantly, is he takes that very checklist and just goes, nope, not her, not my girl. He's not writing a blazon, he's writing an anti-blazon.
Now, to really truly get the joke and the genius here, we got to decode a few key words that just don't hit the same way for us today. These aren't just random insults. They are very deliberate, very unpoetic truths, and they are absolutely crucial to what this poem is all about.
All right, first up, dun. All the other poets were writing about their lovers having skin whiter than snow, and Shakespeare comes in with dun, this dull, kind of brownish color of like plain wool. The shock value is exactly the point. He's not saying she's ugly, he's saying she's real. She has the skin color of an actual human being, not some marble statue.
And what about dasked roses? That was the go-to cliché for perfect rosy cheeks. And Shakespeare's just like, nope, don't see any of those patterns on her face. You see the pattern here, right? She's not a perfect flower, she's a person. This is his whole point.
Okay, reeks. This is the one that probably makes everybody cringe, right? But back then, it just meant to give off a smell. Now, let's be real, it was still a very blunt, earthy word to choose. He could have said her breath smells, but he picked reeks to really drive home the point that her breath smells like a person's breath, not a walking perfume shop.
And then there's this line, I never saw a goddess go. In those cheesy love poems, women didn't just walk. Oh no, they glided, they floated. Shakespeare's mistress? Nope, she walks, she treads on the ground, you know, like a real person. And he states this like it's a simple fact, not some kind of flaw.
So when you put it all together, you realize these so-called insults aren't about his mistress at all. He's taking aim at this tired, silly tradition. He's not making fun of her, he's making fun of a bunch of other poets.
I mean, just look at this checklist. By Shakespeare's time, these comparisons, which all came from an Italian poet named Petrarch, were totally played out. Every single poet was saying the exact same things. It was boring, it was unoriginal, and most importantly, it just wasn't true.
And this is the absolute key right here. Shakespeare is calling out other poets. He's basically looking around at everyone else and saying, you all are lying about the women you claim to love. You compare them to things they could never be. Well, I'm not going to play that game. Which brings us to the total mic drop of a final line. The word you have to catch is belied. It's so clever. It has this amazing double meaning. He's talking about any woman who has been lied about with these fake comparisons, but he's also saying those comparisons are proven to be false. This one single word just unlocks the whole poem. So you see, the whole poem, all those jokes, all that tearing down of cliches, it's all just a big setup. It's the wind-up for the final pitch, the real message, which he delivers in those last 2 perfect lines.
And yeah, it's a brilliant parody for sure, but it's so much more than that. Shakespeare is using this joke to make a really profound point about what real, grown-up love is actually about. It's not about fantasy or putting someone on a pedestal.
Let's just hear that one more time. And yet, by heaven, I think my love as rare as any she belied with false compare. What he's saying is, my beloved is just as precious, just as amazing, as any woman who's been smothered in ridiculous, phony compliments by some other poet. And that, right there, is the heart of it all. What Shakespeare's really arguing is that a love based on seeing someone clearly, all their real, human, not at all goddess-like qualities, and loving them anyway, that is the truest and the absolute rarest kind of love. Because a love built on honesty, well, that's way stronger than one built on pretty lies.
So I want to leave you with one final thought. When Shakespeare is railing against those false compares, is he just taking a shot at some bad poets? Or is he doing something way, way bigger? Is he actually attacking the very idea of an impossible, idealized standard of beauty that no real person could ever, or should ever, have to live up to? It's a question that makes this 400-year-old poem feel like it could have been written yesterday.